The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
All right, guys. So I'm here with Joey Kramer, who's a chiropractor from Texas, and he's been inside the Habit-Based Lifestyle Acceleration Program a little over 5 weeks, and just kind of wrapped up his first month. And Joey, just want to welcome you, man.
Hey, thanks, Jesse, man. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So can you tell the people watching this or listening to this a little more, like, I know you're a chiropractor, but like you have a kind of a specialized part of what you do. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. So we only adjust one bone. It's either the right side or left side, C1 or C2. So it's called an upper cervical practitioner. And we take on a lot of complicated cases. Most of my practice is traumatic brain injuries. So I have a unique field that I get to take care of some pretty awesome people. And it's really a blessing to be able to do that. So.
Wow. So you really only adjust one bone, huh?
Dude, one. And it sits like right up here, like right behind, we got the bald head, so we know where it's at, but it sits right back here. Yeah. One bone, and we shift the whole entire system. It's pretty awesome.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. So how long have you been a chiropractor?
I'm coming up on 5 years. This December will be 5 years. Yeah.
Okay. And just so we get kind of an idea of like, what was life like, in the chiropractic business kind of before we started working together?
I'm not going to lie. It's challenging. You're fighting an uphill battle against society, really. I mean, and it's messaging, right? And so it's really fascinating because everything that you're taught in the chiropractic field is you want to sell your expertise, right? You want to make yourself the hero of your business, which is, who doesn't? But when you do that, people are really turned off. Like, they're not interested in hearing about how awesome you are, right? They want to hear stories about how you helped other people. And so when I was, pre-habit-based lifestyle, I was trying to sell me as being this hero. And as a result, it was hard. I mean, every single month was a roller coaster. I mean, up and down. I mean, you're looking at, you'd have really great collections in January, and February would fall off. And you'd be like, why the hell did that happen? And then you come back in March, and then it'd fall off for 2 or 3 months. And you're like, oh, it's just seasonal, right? People are busy. They got graduation, or they're gone for spring break, or they have summer break. That's why my business sucks right now. Right? You made up these little stories you tell yourself.
So let me ask you this, man. Have you worked with other coaches in your industry, outside of your industry before?
I have. I did work with a coach when I first came out of chiropractic school. And he has a very big following and a very big network that he works with. I just got tired of paying for nothing, to be honest with you. I mean, that's really what it was. So. Okay.
And then also, so you worked with a chiropractic coach. Have you worked with any other coaches prior to working with me?
I do. I have a small business coach that I met in the community, right? So over in this area, I was like, man, I need to meet some, I met a small business coach, and they would do these little one-off seminars, right? Like, it would be here's a marketing, here's your marketing plan for the year, right? It's a Friday seminar. We're going to create our plan for 2020, right? Or here's how you identify your ideal client, or here's a sales workshop, right? Or a hiring and firing workshop, right? They did like little one-offs, and I worked with them probably the last 2 years, 3 years on and off. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this, man. What are some things that you struggled with prior to this program?
Consistent marketing.
Okay.
I would say revenue collections. That's the hardest thing over here, right? And conveying your service in a manner that is truthful and trustful and commands a high dollar. And then two is trusting that the process you have in place is going to generate a practice full of ideal people.
Okay, cool. So, just struggling to consistently get new clients in to sell your program versus selling you. Some of those things. So let me ask you this. What has been some of the results you've gotten just in the last 5 weeks? What's something different right away you noticed? Because I remember having a conversation with you. I'm like, man, you're going to get more out of the next 30 days than you've had probably in the last year.
Yes.
But what did you notice right away when you started working inside of the habit-based lifestyle program?
I would pick three things right away if I could do three. Number one was the system was laid out to where if you follow the system the way it's designed, you will be successful, right? And it was really interesting because the next question I had in my head was answered in the next video training that was done, right? Or if it wasn't on the training, it was done on live, or I just sent you a private message, or it was in the group, and people were more than willing to answer the question and help you navigate than me coming back to my office and getting out a piece of white paper and writing down what I think I learned that day, right? Number two was that there's actual results in the group, and the people in there are sharing their wins and just kicking ass, right? And so when you see that and you surround yourself with it, you're automatically inspired to do more, right? I hate to use the word inspired because I think it's fluff, but there is a part of that has to be in there, right? So you need to know that it's possible. Because I remember you and I had a conversation and I was like, yeah, it'd be great if I got to 20K reoccurring revenue. And you're like, man, I'm not interested in working with people like that. I want people that want 50, 60, 70K in revenue. And I was like, well, I want that shit. I just didn't think it was possible. Right? Because somebody engraved in my head a lie that, we can never make that kind of cash. And
Right.
So that was that one on that standpoint. So the third was clarity, right? That's what really helped me was it removed a lot of beliefs and barriers that I had in my own head about my practice, about my clientele, and about really who we market to. So that was really the big three things I noticed right off the bat.
Okay, awesome. Give me some specific numbers, like what changed. I know this last month has been one of the biggest months you've ever had in business, but what are some specific numbers that you did differently this last 30 days versus, kind of the way it'd been the last 6-7 months?
Well, it's interesting. So before working with you, I spent $27,000 on Facebook ads, and I made back $28,000. And that was doing the chiropractic solution. $27 come in for your initial evaluation, your first adjustment, any x-rays if necessary, and we'll get you taken care of, right? And pretty soon you have, 40, 50, 60 leads. And of the 60 leads, 5 answer their phone. Of the 5, 1 shows up. You convert 1 or 2, and then you just made enough to cover your ad, right? So that was my life, and it was really stressful, and it was a pain in the ass, man. And so I spent a lot of time trying to find out where I could pour money on the fire, metaphorically speaking. And so we did Google ads, we did Facebook ads, we did all this stuff, and it was just crap. And so from roughly, I would say March until September, we were just basically meeting overhead, $10,000 months, $12,000 months, something shy, small along those lines. And then 30 days of accelerator, we did $24,750 in our first 30 days, which is awesome, right? We signed up 7 new clients that are all matching what we wanted, and they all fit the prospect that we need in the practice. So it's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, dude, that's amazing. I know one thing, coming in, you're a little skeptical. You're like, dude, how is this going to work? And I'm like, dude, this is going to work you like just wait and see? I know there's a lot of guys in your industry doing the kind of, I mean, we call it the bait and switch. It's like come in for 29, 39, 49, 59, and then let me try to sell you a $3,000 program.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's one of those things. It's what everybody else is doing. I know a lot of people that are actually successful with it, depending on what area they're from. But I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of extra work that goes into that unnecessarily. And like this, you're coming from a place of complete integrity, honesty, and these people already know you, like you, and trust you before they come in. So you're not really selling. It's more of like, hey, you can actually help me. Let's just figure out what it's going to take to do that.
Yeah, man, definitely.
So let me ask you this, man. You've been in the program, you've already hit almost 25K. What is your kind of goal going forward? Like next, 60 days, like what are you looking at wanting to do going forward?
So are we counting the next 30 days or are we saying the next 60 days?
60 days.
Next 60 days, I want to get to, 30 to 35,000 in sales on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Right?
Awesome.
So that's our big goal. Our big goal is to get our recurring revenue up by $4,000 or $5,000 a month, somewhere in that range. So we're, moving into the new year at, $15,000 to $20,000 in recurring revenue, right? That's going to be huge. And then we just expand it, right? And then from there it's 40K, then 40K is 50K, and we just keep moving in that right direction. So,
for sure, man. Yeah, no, I think one of the cool things is watching your growth. Just as a business owner, I think a lot of times, like, let's face it, being a chiropractor, you have to be smart, man, to be a chiropractor. But one of the things that we often see is you might be smart at being a chiropractor, but that doesn't necessarily make you smart at being a businessman. And I think one of the switches I'm watching you make is you're actually getting to be just as smart at being a businessman and understanding what it actually takes to run a business. And I think that's one of the most frustrating things for people is, we get a business, but it's like, I don't know how actually business works.
yes.
And so I think one of the cool things is to watch guys like yourself really become like a business owner, and transition from kind of being a slave to a business to actually like stepping back and saying, well, no, this is how you operate a business.
Yeah, man, that's probably the best part about it, right? I think that's one of the biggest things that most of us doctors have to do is eat our ego and recognize that we don't know, right? And that's what it is. Yeah, I can tell you all the neuro you need to know about your body, but that's not going to sell care, right?
Right.
People don't give a shit about that. They don't care about that. They want to know that you love them, that you can care on them and make them feel better, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember having a conversation with you with somebody else. They're like, kind of giving them the chiropractic terms of, hey, just tell them you're going to do this, this, and this. And I was like, well, listen, that's a huge disconnect because most people just want to know that you can help them. They don't really care how. They just want to know that you can. And, that's where I think there's a huge disconnect. Even in the training industry, when I was in it, you had a lot of people that were very smart, but they didn't know how to actually communicate with their client to help them get results. And I always kind of prided myself on being somewhere in the middle, smart to know how to get people results, but also a way to simplify it to make sure that they could understand it themselves.
That's the best part, simplification.
So, yeah. Well, hey, man, I'm super proud of what you've accomplished. Is there anything that you would tell people that were on the fence of joining this program?
I would tell them to do it. Right? Like just, in my words, I would say grow some balls and just take the step, man. Like that's what it is. You gotta, your business, if you don't learn how to make your business grow, you will be a slave to it. I've been a slave for 5 years, right? I'm thankful that I found you or somehow that we found each other because now we're working on no longer being a slave. And when at that moment, when that switch happens, you fall back in love with your practice. You remember why you're doing what you're doing because now you're not so strapped financially that you're, concerned if you're going to make the next month. Right. So my biggest thing that I'd say to people is take the step, right? If you're truly interested in growing, then what do you have to lose, right?
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Let me ask you this. So a lot of people come in for business, obviously, but what has been the biggest change for your life that's happened just in the first 30 days?
Oh, we're a lot less stressed at home. I'll tell you that much. I did a lot in the last 30 days though. I'm an all-in kind of guy. So like 30 days ago, I detoxed coffee and then I started intermittent fasting, and like I did like 4 big things. And my wife's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then about week 2 in, she's like starting to see the transformation, and she's like, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so now we start to see some things change in the marriage, and like it's getting better with the kids, and like it's just you have a lot more freedom and flexibility to be present as a parent, present as a spouse, and then to also be present in your business. It's a balanced approach that you have. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that. Well, hey, is there anything else that you want to add?
no, man, that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, man, I'm super proud of you. Super excited. You're inside the Habit-Based Lifestyle Acceleration. I can't wait to see what you do in the coming months.
Let's kill it, man. That's what we're going to do.
All right. Have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. See ya.
All right. Bye.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse